What's up, people? Back with another reaction, back with some more Roxy music, and we're going back to Stranded, 1973. Thank you once again to Seb for sharing their material. And when I did the last reaction to Serenade, I think there were a couple different people who commented that the next track in the playlist was one of Roxy Music's most celebrated tunes. So the next track is A Song for Europe. There's been different times in the 20th century and into the 21st century where that phrase, I might have a sense of the specific direction that it's headed. 1973, maybe not so much. So obviously Europe as an entity could be referring to geopolitical connections or concepts. It could relate to cultural concepts. It could relate to Europe vis-a-vis other regional entities. So I feel like there's a lot of different directions it could go, and given the time frame of this album and song, I don't quite know what to make of it in advance. So I'll try to catch what I can on a first listen and see if any of those things are relevant or not, but let's hear it. This is Roxy Music. The track is A Song for Europe, and it's from their 1973 album Stranded.
As I sit at this empty cafe, thinking of you, I remember all those moments lost in wonder that will never again. Though the world is my oyster, it's only a shell full of memories. And here by the Seine, Notre Dame casts a long, lonely shadow.
Today for us, nothing is there for us to share but yesterday.
These cities may change, but there always remains my obsession. Through silken waters my gondola glides, and the bridge it sighs.
I remember all those moments lost in wonder that we'll never find again. There's no more time for us, nothing is there for us to share but yesterday.
I can stand to hear a little more song. You don't have to fade on my account. And always interesting to hear a true whistle in a track. Crazy. It's interesting because it's looking back to a previous time, and indeed, he's saying, there's no future here. There's no present even. The only thing we can do is look back to these prior times and prior configurations or experiences. I did wonder when it started, because I was thinking about the way I talked about the title in advance, of like, well, it could be looking back to Europe after Reconstruction, after World War II or something, but it was the opposite. It was saying, like, whatever was there before, that had substance, that was something. This is nothing now. There's no future for us, not even any present. And then referencing, like, a Celtic cafe, and then later we're on a gondola going through the waters, which of course makes you think of Venice and Italy. So, yeah, I don't know if there's different geographical references within Europe happening. And by the end, he was singing in French, so, that seems to be another cultural reference within the whole. But, yeah, it was, like, forlorn, it was reflective and nostalgic, but in the context of being melancholy about what is and what could be, or what won't be. So I don't really know what's happening lyrically. And there were spoken word bits toward the end, so it was going from different types of delivery, that fairy vibrato style warble, which again, like, I've heard different singers do vibrato and slightly different sounds, but his particular wavering vocal at the end of, like, longer extensions, it's unique. I've never heard a singer do that before. I know I've said that in other tracks, but it really stood out on this one. So I'm very interested in what's happening, but I couldn't quite piece it together. Sonically, another buffet of different instruments, like keyboard sounds that got more intense at some point, rolling, fast-paced, like, hi-hats and crash cymbals, a saxophone to die for, including toward the end. It really started to hit this intensified, faster rhythm of notes, but also had that, soulful, swanky feel to it at some earlier moments. Some guitar that was very compelling. I've been going through some different groups, and I've commented before that, like, the only group that I can think of that I would put in the same universe or dimension as Roxy Music is Japan. And people mention Japan took a lot of inspiration from Roxy Music, and that makes total sense. I've been going through a pre-Aha project called Bridges, and I'm getting near the end of the second album, which is the last album, and that even wasn't released until much, much later, long after Aha had become what they were and what they are. But it does seem to me that maybe Bridges, took some inspiration as well, because some of their stuff, it just keeps changing tempos, and the vocals are crazy and eccentric, and the rolling drums have this, almost impossible to decipher rhythm, but one that works. So now that I've been going through Bridges, I would maybe say they're another group that was just off in their own dimension, and again, perhaps taking at least some cues from what Roxy Music had done. So yeah, again, 73, not sure, what to make of the geographical and temporal references on offer, but I'm curious to hear what people have to say. I do get why this would be a memorable tune. I feel like I've heard some crazier ones from them, I have to say. So not the absolute craziest, although again, everything I just said, different types of vocal deliveries, different instruments, flourishing here and there, different languages even. There's a lot going on, but, it's a testament to Roxy Music's crazy creativity that this actually isn't the weirdest or wildest tune I've heard from them. So either way, a cool one. I'm curious to hear what people have to say. Let me know. Once again, shout out to Seb, shout out to Luca, who enjoyed that enough that she had to come get a front row seat, and I will see you next time. Peace.